E ka po e hano nā limahana na hoa luahi o ke ia ala kike e ke o ke ia ola honua ana. Mai ka wehe mua ana o ke alaula I ka elelani I ka iho ana o ka la I ka ele honua. Mai ka wai huna ka pau o I ka lua kapu o pele I kilauea. I ka wai ku au hoe I nā pali I ke la aina kaulana o mano kalani po. A mai na onohi alohi lohi hoi. O ka punohu ula I mauna kea I ke kapa o poliahu. Ai ka hulali lali ana o nā pupu kaulana I ka moku kapu o ka helelani ke aloha nui, ke aloha loa, ke aloha pu'uwai hamamai a kākou a pauloa. Aloha. O wau o Ian ki ali'i loko mai kai na hulu mai oho, he kaikaina na lihau anu, he hoa hanau noho I nā kali kawa'a. He keiki wau no Moloka Inu Iahina, no ka ohana mai oho, o ko umakuahine no nana kuli la ie me kona hema ka ohana na hulu. He lala noho I o na ohana ho, kaihe, ka ohimaunu, Cummings, a pelaku. My name is Ian Kiali Loko mai kai Nahulu mai oho. I am the younger brother of Lihawanu, and he's the Nahulu that Kumupuakea was talking about, that Kali got cracks from. He's that Nahulu, yeah, Lihawanu. I'm a product of the Hawaiian Immersion Program on Moloka'i from kindergarten through 8th grade. I graduated from Kamehameha Schools, Kapalama, in 2007. From there, I went directly to the University of Hawaii at Hilo, Kahakaula o Ke'elikolani. I got my undergraduates there and also my master's in Indigenous Education. I'm currently a student in the Awaiaulu program at Kahakaula o Ke'elikolani. My current work involves helping to bridge information, helping to bridge our history, helping to bridge our language and culture, and essentially develop and cultivate our Hawaiian and also local identity of Hawaii within our people. Besides Awaiaulu, I am employed as a Hawaiian resource coordinator at Kamehameha Schools. I help develop programs for the intercession breaks and also summer. My summer program starts on Monday. And as a coordinator, I help to develop the curriculum. I help to present the curriculum, have staff development, and also bring together our community to utilize the resources we have on Moloka'i to bridge this information to our haumana. I'm also a kumu, a lecturer at the University of Hawaii Maui College via Moloka'i at our educational center on Moloka'i. I teach Hawaiian Studies courses as well as Hawaiian Language 101, 102, 201, and 202. And within that, my kuleana there, my responsibility at the college, I'm also able to bridge information such as lexical items and idioms that we pull from Kamakau's work to represent the different domains of Olelo Hawaii so that our speakers, adult speakers, as well as high school learners who are in college are able to become familiar with a wider vocabulary and wider set of language that we were presenting when we were in elementary, and hopefully collectively grow our knowledge as Hawaiian language speakers, Hawaiian language practitioners. Like the three who just presented before me, I was a part of Keopuni Mo'i, and also that's phase 2, and also phase 3 Ke Kahua. I brought on 2 under me, who is John Yasuda and Aulani Kailiho. And so along the lines of building bridges, making connections, and being able to pass on information, I'm also a full-time parent to my son who's 10 years old, Lonoana Hulu, and also my daughter who is 5 years old, Waila'ahia Kealoha. And they are also in the Hawaiian Immersion, Hawaiian Nest program on Moloka'i, Punana Leo, and Kikulakai Punya Kuala Pu'u. And it's through them that I'm also able to practice taking this information and being able to massage it or making it palatable for them to digest and become proficient in, so that they may carry it on into their lives and as they grow up. My son is the first native speaker of Olelo Hawaii in our ohana for, depends on what line, but about 3 generations. And so hopefully I'm able to pass on the right Olelo as our kupuna were speaking at the time of the Nupepa in Naukuni Mo'i. And so through this work, I'm able to strengthen my knowledge base in Olelo Hawaii so that I'm able to teach it to my keiki and raise them in Olelo Hawaii. This other picture is on the grounds of Hulihe'e Palace in Kona, Kailua Kona, and the lei is upon the step of what remains of Princess Ke'elikolani, Ruth Ke'elikolani, her hale Olelo. And it was through a huaka'i where I recently took my Hawaiian 202 students from Maui College to Ka'apuni, Hawaii Island, and visit different places while utilizing the olelo that we had learned over the past 4 semesters. And so again, building bridges, making connections. And so as I mentioned, one of the common threads that I learned throughout my 4 years in Awaiaulu is being able to use language to make unfamiliar or sometimes foreign ideas palatable to audiences of a different generation with different cultural and perhaps religious worldviews. One really strong example of this that resonated within me and within my ohana as we try to develop a honua, a nest to raise our children, is the idea of spirituality and religion, being conflicted between the confines of what it means to identify as a native Hawaiian, but also in this world where Christianity is widely accepted. And it was interesting for me to read chapters 43, 44, and 45 of Kamakau as he explains and he presents traditional worldviews of understanding the spirit world to an audience in the mid to later 1800s who were devout Christians, so much so that they became missionaries to go on missions in Micronesia, in Marquesas, and all throughout the West Coast, in Oregon, in California. And so he was able to take this knowledge of traditional worldview of understanding the spirit world and use language to pass it on through a means that was widely accepted. And one example of this is his use of the word anela, which means angel, in trying to describe the understanding of aumakua. And interesting enough, in previous chapters and later chapters, he goes into all the other vocabulary to express all the other facets of this aumakua, or the aumakua realm. But interesting enough, today we are only commonly hear the word aumakua. It's used on a daily basis in our local pidgin dialect of English and all around. And why so? And my personal understanding and belief is because this history was presented in such a way that was accepted by an audience who had a common understanding with this idea of guardian angels. Another example is the idea of privatization, ownership of land, understanding assets, understanding property. And so property owned by a person or company regarded as having value and available to meet debts, commitments, or legacies. And so this idea of assets was presented to the general Hawaiian public in a phrase, and this Olelo Hawaii was used in our trainings to help us understand using language to convey ideas to a new audience. And this talks about, this uses the word aina as the word for assets or property. And so basically, I'll read the English. The earth that man cultivates is considered an asset. The ocean where man fishes is considered an asset. The public market is considered an asset. Canoe carving is considered an asset. House building is considered an asset. All things that benefit the vast majority of mankind are assets. And it's interesting that he uses the word aina, or land, in this context. So now it brings a new meaning to a new generation, but also helps us understand how dear and near aina is to the Po'e Hawaii. That's how near and dear these assets should also be as we pass it on through our legacy. And so as I present this idea of connectedness, I bring on my team. John will be next. and he'll be talking about connecting generations. Oh, sorry, a little pause.
As we stepped into phase 3, we finished phase 2, we felt very good about everybody's progress, including my own. I learn a lot as we move through this. And so we opened the door to candidacy. So we actually made it known that the 4 that had been trainees would become trainers, and we offered people a chance to write in and tell us who you are and why you're interested. We had 16 people write in and give us their CV, their explanation, and whatnot. I didn't pick the 8 that we selected. It was the trainers and the mentors among themselves. They chose our 8 candidates, and you're going to hear from each of them here soon. But they do, it was a number of challenges as we were accustomed to this pyramid. Well, now we've got, as we put another 9th one at the bottom, as our man who was our research assistant and whatnot, he's watching this go on, but he's not getting the same experience that they were, so we put him in with the trainees. So now we have 15 people. How do you organize that? So we broke it into 2 pyramids. Kalei runs her own pyramid, Kamuela runs his. But it spans 4 islands in 2 countries. And so we have on both sides of Hawaii Island, which might as well be 2 of its own islands, and then Maui, Molokai, Oahu, and New Zealand. Fortunately for Skype, we're able to pull it in, and they're able to meet with each other and whatnot. We're very demanding about that. You're welcome to travel, you're welcome to do whatever, but at 6:15 p.m. on Monday night, even if you're in the Tokyo airport, which is where Pili's been, or in Turkey, and it happens to be 4:30 a.m., that was your choice to be in Turkey. You'll be on Skype, and you have to be somewhere with good Skype. Don't tell me that the Wi-Fi is weak here. Find someone somewhere in advance. Hina had to move houses in New Zealand for better Wi-Fi. So just the structural side of this has been a challenge, but we've been able to operate. There are 2 pyramids going on with Ke Puni's follow-up, Ke Kahua. So it's the 3rd part of the Kamakau under Kalei, and all of the writings of John Papa'i'i under Kamuela and his team. Are we ready to bring them on?
This phase was funded by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and the Cirrus Trust Foundation. So we have 2 teams. Kalei and Kamuela both lead a team. They're broken up into the I'i text and the Kamakau text. So they're referred to as Hui I'i and Hui Kamakau. Hui Kamakau will come up and do their presentations first, and they're going to introduce themselves. Mahalo.
E ka po'i a pau I ho'ea mai nei ke ia ahiahi, na kamaaina, na malihini. Ka po'i a pau I a kokoa mai nei, aloha ahiahi kākou a pau loa. O wau no o John Yasuda, hanau ia mai wau ma Honolulu nei o Ahu, noho wau ma ke ia aina hiki ki ia la. My name is John Yasuda. I was born and raised here in Honolulu. I went to school at Iolani. I graduated in 2004. And I didn't begin learning Olelo Hawaii until my time at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where I was able to earn my bachelor's and master's both in Hawaiian language. Currently, I'm a kumu Olelo Hawaii at Iolani School, where over the last, I think it's going to be the 4th year now, where Hawaiian is now offered as a language, just like at the same level as any other language at Iolani School, where students can take Hawaiian as their language of choice. I was very fortunate during my time in the master's program to be a graduate assistant with Kumu Puakea because that was my first introduction to the Hawaiian language newspapers. And main thing I want to talk about today has to do with worldview, Hawaiian language worldview, and English-speaking worldview, and connect some of the pieces to my earliest work in the newspapers back in 2009 as a graduate assistant till today. In my time reading Kamakau's writings. So, and that particular point has to do with how information is presented differently, Hawaiian worldview versus English-speaking worldview. One of the main things has to do with quantitative versus qualitative presentation of data. In my first working with Puakea, we collected and translated thousands of articles that had to do with weather occurrences here in the islands, from strong winds, hurricanes, rains, snow, waves, volcanic activity, and all those types of events. And we translated the articles. One of the things that we realized is that there wasn't very much numerical data at all presented in these articles. Yet, the vivid descriptions and the way that the information was presented in a way where the readership was able to get a really, really strong understanding of the event that took place. You turn on the KHON2 news and weather station, and you expect to hear a lot of numerical data. The wind is blowing at this many miles per hour tonight. X amount of rain inches of rain have fallen down. However, in reading the newspapers, we were able to, through our translations, identify a hurricane that came through the islands as a Category 4 hurricane based solely on the type of descriptions that were given in the newspaper. And it's the beauty of these descriptions that really paint a picture of the way that this information was presented to the Hawaiian readership and what the Hawaiian readership sees as important. So connecting it to some of our work today, in a lot of Kamakau's writings, there's a lot of description about work such as the building of lo'i, fishing, the making of nets, the construction of hale, the making of kapa, all those types of things. And they're done with great description and great detail, with very little quantitative data and numerical data. And yet, as a reader, we're still able to get a really nice picture of what this task and what this process looked like. And so it informs us as students to what is important to the Hawaiian readership, what is valued, and what is seen as interesting. And I'm able to today bring that into the classroom for my students. Every once in a while, we'll do a translation, maybe a short newspaper translation or a short mo'olelo, and we'll translate it. And most of my students will probably not say that that's their favorite activity. There's a few who really like language and they like it, but the majority probably won't say it's their favorite. However, I would imagine that many of them, if they really thought about it, would feel that the translation activities that we do help to best identify areas that they're strong and areas that they're weak in understanding what the language is truly saying. And so we do that because I really want them to understand and not just answer these two or five questions about the story, but if you can translate it and really present your translation accurately, you'll show me that you really understand the small nuances in the story. And so that's one thing that I'm able to bridge and bring to my students because of the work with Awaiaulu and with Puakea and the rest of the team. And I really mahalo that because I think of my students kind of like I think of myself as a student as well, and kind of this flow of knowledge is able to continue and come in and come out at the same time. And so I really appreciate that opportunity, and I look forward to continuing to learn more so I can offer more to my students. Mahalo nui. Mahalo.
Ke aloha nui mai kākou. O wau no au lani ka ili hou. Ma manoa, wau I hana I ai anui. O hilo no nae. Maka au au o ka mokupuni o Hawaii, maka au au o hilo. Ko'u wahi e noho nei me ka'u ohana. My name is Aulani Ka'iliho. I was raised in Manoa, Oahu, not too far from here. I went to Kamehameha schools, graduated, went to college right after high school to Manoa. I got a degree, a bachelor's in English, with an emphasis in British literature. And yeah, through life circumstances, I found myself several years later on Hawaii Island with the opportunity to maybe take some Hawaiian language classes, which I never did prior to that. That led me to another bachelor's in Hawaiian studies, and where I gained my fluency was actually at UH Hilo at Kahakaula o Ke'elikulani. I continued there as a lecturer, teaching Hawaiian studies in an introductory level Hawaiian studies class, like 100 level class, to learners that were from the broad base of the university, and I taught Hawaiian content in English. I continued to go to school there. I got my master's in Hawaiian language and literature. During that time, my learner base became differentiated. In other words, the responsibilities I had as a kumu, the learners I had in my class just changed. I started to teach at Navahi, where I was teaching in Hawaiian medium education, 7th grade all the way up through high school. I taught history, English language arts, Hawaiian language arts classes. I also currently teach and still teach at Kahaka'ulo Ke'likolani. I teach a graduate level research methods class and the seminar class for our undergraduate students that are majors in Hawaiian studies. In addition to that, I work full-time at Kamehameha Hawaii campus as a researcher. The reason why I share this with you is not to tout my vita in any way, but because it represents my responsibilities. And part of the reason why I was interested in building a relationship with Awaiaulu is I had never had kumupuakea as a teacher. I'm from Hilo, and he didn't teach over there. So, yeah. So, but our Hawaiian language communities are small, so we know each other's work. And I had great respect for the things that I was using as a student that came out of Awaiaulu. About 6 summers ago, I accepted a position in summer school at Kamehameha Hawaii campus, and I was given the responsibility to teach Hawaiian literature. So this meant 20-day program, summer school, Hawaiian literature, can do, right? Got ready to prep that and realized I have read all of these mo'olelo in Hawaiian. Like Hawaiian literature for me was, I wasn't interacting with English text. So I said, well, what is available? And the one thing I gravitated to was the Hi'iaka Ikapolio Pere text that Awaiaulu did. And I took it and we read parts of it that summer, and I learned a lot about, I will admit that I had my doubts as to whether or not I could sustain the same level of learning for my English medium students than I could in my Hawaiian medium classrooms. But because I had a resource that was translated with such integrity, it was really easy to keep the standards in my 2 classrooms at pretty much the same level. I did not arrive there in the same way. Yeah, they both had the different magic in each of them. But it made me very curious as to how this process worked. So the ho'olaha, or the advertisement for these positions, came out, and I applied, mostly because I was totally curious on how they got translation to that level. Looking at the Hawaiian composition and being educated in that by my teachers at Kahaka'ula, I wanted to know how the translation part came out that way. And I started my time here with Awaiaulu. There's several things that I'm very, very grateful for. One is to have a Hawaiian language community, or hui, that is at this level. I benefit from it every week, to be able to talk amongst peers that share the same passions as we do to kind of uplift the future. That's super important. The second thing is that I currently, in my research position at Kamehameha School's Hawaii campus, primarily I'm teaching teachers. So one thing we've figured out recently, and not just here in Kea'au at Kamehameha, but everywhere, is that if we want to improve Hawaiian education, we have to invest in our teachers. We have to grow our teachers. We have to grow ourselves. We have to continue to invest in ourselves, because we're the instrument that stands in front of the classroom. And if we're not at our best, then what pours out of us will not be our best. So my responsibilities at Kamehameha Hawaii campus has a lot to do with creating experiences where the teacher is the learner. And because of that, Awaiaulu has been really, really valuable for me, because I work with a lot of teachers that don't have Hawaiian language background, but yet have Hawaiian kids in their classrooms. So to be able to work with them and have a conversation about a text whether it's a passage, an entire mo'olelo, a sentence, or a vocabulary word, and have an intellectual conversation that really gives them something to take back to their classroom and contextualize in kindergarten or contextualize in first grade is really what I've seen come out of my time here in Awaiaulu. So that was what I wanted to share with you, because reflecting on the last 2 years, I think that's currently what I'm doing with the things that I've learned here. And personally, I think that we have responsibilities to reclaiming narrative, and why not do it in Hawaiian and English? Yeah, so mahalo, mahalo.
E ka poe, nānei akoko maila I ka malu olu olu o wakine kona hale nei, aloha nui kākou. O wau ka hoʻokai he kiki papa wau no ka aina vela i'o o nā kona. Noho ana I ka malu a hualalai, I ka lai malie o holua loa. He keiki au, he keiki punana leo au, puka mai ka punana leo kona I ka makaiki, kaneiwa kumaha. But kula kamali'i ke la, yeah. A leila, he haumana kaya puni pu wau, e nae puka kula wau mai ke kula iuka ala, ke kula o Kamehameha, ma ka pālama I ka makaiki e lua kaukani e hiku. Loa maila ka ukekele ma ka olelo Hawaii ma ke kula nui o manoa. E wau ke kolomua mali e nei ma ka papahana mua ma ka haka ula o ke elikolani. Aloha kākou, I'm ka hoʻokai Kanuha, I'm from Kona, Hawaii. I'm a student of Punana Leo, Kaiapuni student, who graduated though from Kamehameha Kapalama in 2007. I got my bachelor's degree from Manoa, 2013 in Hawaiian language. I moved back home to Kona and I've been there since then. I've worked with Aha Punana Leo for over 10 years, and then I just recently finished my first year teaching at Kekula Ehunui Kaimalino in 6th and 7th grade. And I just got the notice a couple of days ago that I'll actually be moving up to high school next year for Papa Umi Kumaka and Umi Kumula and Olelo Hawaii as well. So I'm excited about that. And this work with Awaiaulu has helped me tremendously. It's given me, helped my work tremendously. And not just in Kula, there's a few other things I do outside of that as well. But mostly at Ehunui. And it's provided me the opportunity, the ability to not just provide more resources and interesting resources to the haumana, but more importantly, to provide those resources with an elevated understanding of what those resources represent and what they hold. And so I'm quite embarrassed to think about where I was 2 years ago in this process, and I'm sure I'll be embarrassed 2 years from now about where I am now. But it's a good embarrassment because it's a holomua, and a lot of it is attributed to the things that were mentioned, collaborating, networking with each other, and just being in the mo'olelo week after week after week. And not just one day a week and the next week, but there's multiple days within that we're understanding it and becoming familiar with it. And so I want to share two things tonight that I found really interesting from some of the work that we've done. So in Kekahua, as was mentioned, Kamakau is going through the kind of the foundational cultural understandings and things of Hawaii. So we're talking about all kind of stuff from kahi olona to kukuluhale, to hiaku, to hikahala, to halau va'a, to kalai va'a, to, the different la'au lapa'au, to the different papakahuna, to the different inoa aina, to the different mahelo kik, all kinds. And that's basically going from helu e kahi to about kanaha kumahiku. Lele aku I ke kanaha kumavalu, we get into number 48, and now he starts the mo'olelo of Umi. And so this is Kamakau's version of the mo'olelo of Umi, which is slightly different from a more perhaps widely known version coming from Fornander, because from 1919, I think it was, or 1519, published again in Olelo Hawaii with a side-by-side English translation. And so it was laha. It was accessible to not just Hawaiian language speakers, but those who don't speak Hawaiian as well. Two things that we found in Kamakau through our work in the mo'olelo of Umi that would kind of perhaps differ from what is maybe generally accepted by those who are involved in these readings, who are familiar with these stories. And so the first thing is Umi's kiki ho'okama. Yeah, so when he's leaving Akahia Kuleana and he's going back down to Waipio to launa with who's Umi, to launa with Hakau. Umi is the, he's a ali'i of Hawaii Island, yeah? Ancient times, he's the son of Liloa, and Akaya Kuleana, who according to some accounts is a maka'ainana, other accounts would say no, she has koku ali'i. And so this grand story of Umi. And he's going back to Waipio to find his makuakane. And along his way, he adopts these hiki ho'okama. And so we have Oma Okama, we have Pi'i Mai Va'a, and then we have Ko'i. The first time I ever read this version without Okina Kahako, I thought to myself, how do I say this name? Ko'i? 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 What is it? And how do we know? Just other than just taking the best guess we can take. And so what you see generally is Ko'i. Yeah, like the Ko'i that the other Nahulu that Lihawanu was talking about with Wakea, yeah, Kumu Elima. What we see here in Kamakau is that when Umi leaves Pi'i Mai Va'a's hale the following morning, he meets Pi'i Mai Va'a, they stay at his hale, they leave the following morning, they continue on their journey. On their path, they come across another keiki. And it says here, e pa'ani ana ke kahi keiki I ke ala nui. O e ko'i ana ke kahi keiki I ke ala nui. Or what would be ko'i, kona inoa. And so it doesn't say that he's named this name because of this pa'ani. But it's interesting to see that right before before Kamakau gives his name, he explains what Ko'i was doing when they came across him. And so the connection between him playing that game, Ko'i, which is a little keiki game with sticks accompanied by a jingle, we've come to the belief that perhaps the proper pronunciation of this kanaka is not in fact Ko'i, but rather Ko'i. When we ask why is he named Ko'i, the answer that I've always got, well, I don't know. It's Ko'i. So is this right? Is this wrong? I don't know. I didn't write it, and I'm not Umi. I wasn't there. But I do have something when someone says, why do you say Ko'i? Well, because when they came across him, he was playing Ko'i on the Alanui. Okay, so that's one piece of information that would differ from what we generally know. And then the second thing is a famous surfing contest held between Umi and Pai'ea. So when Umi is kind of exiled from Waipio, later on by Hakau, he's out in hiding in Waipunalei, the boundary between Hilo and Hamakua. And they go to shore at Laupahoehoe, and he meets up with this ali'i, Pai'ea. And they have a contest, and they make a bet. And they bet, a couple va'akau lua, bet a leipa lawa, a couple more va'akau lua, and uamau, they go ahead. These two pictures that we see here come from Fornander's version. Fornander has two publications, in a sense, of the mo'olelo with different illustrations. And so you have a remake, I think it was in 1993, with the Brooke Parker ki'i on the far side. And then you have the black and white ki'i, which comes from Charlot in the republication of certain articles from Kamakau. There's Halemano, there's Iva, there's Umi, there's Punia, Cavello, and one or two more. And so what these pictures do is they're, like every other picture, they're an assistance to understanding the content of the mo'olelo. In Hawaiian, for many of us, our understanding is not quite as great and clear as it would be in the first language of English. And so we utilize these pictures to kind of build boundaries and a framework of what we see in the mo'olelo, in the words. So what we're going through this though, there's a portion in the mo'olelo where they both get on the wave. Kahana lawa I kanalu ike o Pai'ea makia na oia ya Umi. A ua kokoke I ke kai pohaku, a e ho'okea e ana o Pai'ea ya Umi ka pohaku, a ua eha ka au Umi ka pohaku. No ka ikaika o Umi, ku ka umauma o Pai'ea I ke ke'ehi. Pai o Umi I kapa. So what's happening here is they're on a wave. Okay, I'll just say that, they're on a wave. That's what we know. Now, how are they on this wave? It's not quite clear. The picture would tell us that it's on a surfboard. Thrum's translation would tell us it's on a surfboard. However, when you get to the section of ku ka umauma o Pai'ea I ke ke'ehi, what we're trying to figure out in this process is we're asking, what does this picture look like? If it's not that, what does it look like? And so we're looking at the surfboard picture and trying to figure out how does he get crowded up against the rock, smashed, his shoulder is bruised, scraped, and then he kicks Pai'ea off the wave and continues to ride and lands on shore first. How do you do that on a surfboard? I'm not a surfer, I wouldn't be the best person to answer that, but I've seen people who do, and I haven't seen that move done yet. So we're wondering, what does this look like? And so when we combine, kind of to the point that was mentioned earlier about Kamakau and I'i, we're looking at Kamakau and Fornandu to see what type of words are used for this He'enalu. And they both use the words kind of interchangeably, He'enalu and Kahanalu. So we think He'enalu, oh, that's on a surfboard, Kahanalu, that's body surfing. But even in the other translations of ruling chiefs, it's very vague, it's surf riding. But the conclusion that we've come to on this is that what's actually happening is they're body surfing. They're not standing on a surfboard. They're body surfing, and as they're kind of coming down the wave, maybe perhaps Umi being on the inside, like that, closest to the rock, Pai'ea being on the outside, Pai'ea is crowding Umi up against the rock. And they come down into the rock, and he kind of smashes Umi into it. And now Umi, and so we're thinking this rock is not like that one that's above the ocean. We're thinking that this is like a papa, maybe right below, or there's a reef that's perhaps kind of sticking out, but it's not this moku puko'a. And so he gets kind of slammed to the bottom, and as Pai'ea is behind him, Umi, what I think he's doing, again, I haven't done this move either too, but what I think he's doing is he is kind of kicking off Pai'ea, pushing him into the back of the wave, and using that momentum to sling himself back forward, continue to ride the wave, and he lands ashore first. But within this, there's a lot of things that make us think it's surfing, just the fact that they're racing. So, and we know it's kind of laha, oh, you surf, you go from the wave, and you try to get to shore first. But apparently what we're seeing here is that the same thing is happening in a body surfing contest. It's a huge mo'olelo. This happened 300, 400, 500 years ago, whatever it is, and we still remember it today. But do we remember it for what it actually was? And there's a big difference between saying, oh, I'm a really, really good body surfer and I can win the surfing competition. Those are two totally different skills. And so I think one of the valuable things for me is just being able to, again, not necessarily translate this mo'olelo, but to be able to understand the mo'olelo. What's actually happening, be able to explain it in Olelo Hawaii and to a non-Hawaiian language speaker as well. And so those are two things that I found very interesting from the mo'olelo of Umi. Mahalo.
Aloha nui kākou. O wau Pa'ani Kelson. No hilo mai wau. Ai ka'u ohana, noho ana ma mauna hui hui. Iuka o na paia ala o puna. He kumu wau ma ke kula o Nawahio Kalani o Pu'u. Ua na'awao wau I ka olelo Hawaii, ua ho'omaka ko'u na'awao ana. I ka olelo Hawaii ma ke koleke olelo Hawaii o ka haku'ula o Ke'elikolani. Aloha, my name is Pa'ani Kelson. You run into anybody in Hilo named Kelson, that's my family. Tell them hi. Be nice. I'm from Hilo, living in Mountain View. I'm a teacher at Ke Kula o Nawahio Kalani o Pu'u in Kea'au. I've been blessed to begin learning olelo Hawaii at ka haku'ula o Ke'elikolani. And if you know about Punana Leo, ka haku'ula o Ke'elikolani, Ke Kula o Nawahio Kalani o Pu'u, if you're familiar with these places of learning of these leaders in Hawaiian language, if you're involved with those institutions, you might have felt the same little twist in your na'au in the beginning of this presentation when you heard that quote, it's not about language, it's about knowledge. When I first got invited to be a part of this program, I was super happy. I was stoked. It's my friends from intermediate school, went together. Yeah, it's my friends. And I get to work with them and continue on. And then I kind of started hearing, that was my first introduction to Awaiaulu. It's not about language, it's about knowledge. And that didn't sit well with me because that goes against 15 years of being a part of all of this, from what I was used to. So if you have a real strong desire burning inside of you right now to keep on talking about this subject, then come talk to me afterwards, because I'm not going to continue on this track. I just wanted to put that out there, that's a real big issue that's being wrestled with across our pai'aina, between all of us as a lahui. Yeah? How to move our people forward in the most effective way, in the correct way. And President Barack Obama, not going to get political with this, I know I've been guilty, and I see a lot of people guilty of this, of having kind of a fanciful, pohina kapu olelo, not aleo fantasized, romanticized, kalama. Not fantasized, romanticized. A romanticized outlook on our kupuna who have come before us. I hear a lot, the ancient Hawaiians did this. Maka olelo Hawaii, I loko o ka poe wala'au, na awau I ka olelo Hawaii, lohe mau ia o wahi ana kupuna. E ho'opili kākou I ke ano o nā kupuna. Yeah? A peia pu ka olelo Hawaii ana ke kai. He mea maka mai, he molele ka olelo Hawaii, e pulama ia, malama I kona mae, no ka mea he mea kapu ihi ka olelo Hawaii, malama I ke la. Ke au. This Obama, kind of a outlook, yeah? Aka no kakua pau, he mau kanaka, a ole ho'okai kanaka he molele I loko ke ia a koko ana. Mai nā kanaka mua a I ke kanaka hope, a ole ana loa o Yesu ho'okai. Yeah? He mau kanaka kākou, I lana kila nui I piholo I lalo. Ke la piholo ana I lalo, ai o hoa I luna pi I hoaku. That side, Obama. And in our translations, kind of reminding ourselves that these stories, these histories, these anecdotes, these articles aren't written purely from this side Obama kind of outlook. Yeah? And that helps us as translators to create a more full picture of these hame e nui, ke ia poe ko'i, that are mentioned, whose stories are recorded in these mo'olelo. Not only to get pigeonholed into this side, but also realize that that side is a very important side of their life as well. So that can help us create better translations, to in turn help inform ko kākou lāhui, pehea e ho'okele ai I keia noho kanaka ana o kākou. So in chapter 47, one of the chapters that Nahulu was talking about. So Nahulu, I was talking about Aumakua and Unihipili, which is deifying a deceased loved one into a spirit form so that they can come back and interact with us in this Aukanaka. The different protocols required in that, the different sacrifices, listing out all of these steps. So we were translating that, and this was a really this side Obama kind of an article. This is like the holy of holies. You don't mess around with this kind of stuff because that. So we're going through this, we're working our way through this article, and then a new paragraph starts, and it just starts off, there's a guy in Maui, he's walking down a road. Okay, I guess this is just an example of this story now. Olelo I hola ua kanaka nei, mana no ho'i oe e ka pueo, he ahala ho'i ko mea I make ai. Period, close quote, should be right there. We see that, and we're kind of confused. Okay, this guy in Maui is walking down the street, he sees an owl on the road, and the owl is jacked up, it's dead, his feathers sticking all weird angles, his wing is broken, his feet are broken. And he stands over this pueo, and he's talking to this dead pueo, which is the first red flag. Like, what are you doing talking to a dead pueo? And then he starts saying these words, Mana no ho'i oa e ka pueo, he ahala ho'i ko mea I make ai. Now we just got done talking about unihipili and all of this. Is he trying to like bring back this pueo to life? Is he trying to fix this? Is he trying to like pray over this pueo? Is he trying to figure out what killed this pueo? We're confused. Because we're thinking Oval Office Obama. And then it continues on, period, close quote, ho'opohopoho I hoana I ka olemu. So you guys probably know, olemu is your rear end, which is not a holy, sacred, revered body part of ours. So what is he doing with all of this stuff? Meka olelo iho, ko po'oa. So ko po'oa, he goes from sticking out his butt, and then he says, ko po'oa, your head, That's what I mean. Okay? And then, oka hemo no ia oka We thought that said uha. It does, yeah? That's what we thought. We thought it said uha because it said his wings was all jacked up, his leg was broken. He stuck out his butt and he said kopo'oa, and was it the puel's leg popped out? It's really confusing, really vivid. What is going on? So the key for all of that was it didn't say uha. It said uha. O ka hemonoia o ka uha iwaho. And you guys are going to see what uha means. So we started thinking that side, Obama, with the beer in his hand. This guy isn't trying to bring back this puel to life. He's talking smack to this puel. He's teasing this puel. He's ridiculing this puel. Instead of, oh, you're so strong, owl, what could have killed you? It's, oh, you're so strong, Mr. Owl. Oh, what killed you? What could have killed you? You're so strong. It's that kind of attitude towards this puel. Then he stuck out his butt and said, kopo'oa. Okay, so how do you translate kopo'oa with that kind of ridiculing? So that was another obstacle for us. We've all probably been on a playground and heard this. You get tackled or you get scored on, you get a three-pointer in your face. Yeah, in your face. Yeah? Kopo'oa. And it didn't say that the owl's uha, which is thigh, popped out. It said, o ka hemonoia o ka uha. The guy is sticking out his butt into the owl's face, in your face. Boom, he gets a hemorrhoid immediately. His colon immediately popped out. So uha is that. O ka hemonoia o ka uha iwaho. It was worked on by kahuna healers to put it back in, but it did not go in at all. Kalamai, this is probably not the right time of day for this. So it goes on to say that Kuka'ino, that he was stinking up the place and flies were starting to come around and all of this stuff. He was screaming out in pain. Nothing he could do could fix this until he prayed to the puel, asking him for forgiveness. That was the only thing that was able to help him throughout all of this. So once we started looking at the kolohe side of this, that really helped. And this is just one example of that. I was really surprised to see several examples of this kind of stuff in Kamakao's writing. So for us as translators, reminding ourselves about that is important to kind of make a fuller picture. We're talking about making these people human so that we get to know them better, so that the readers know these people better, can build a relationship with these people. So as a translator and then as people, reminding ourselves about both sides of Kanaka is really important. Mahalo.
Ho'i ke aloha aina I ka o hululaha ole. I ka pua ka makahala, me he la I pala ala ka mele mele. Ka wohi mili mili a ka lahui, ka inoa ala ho'i e o nauna I nei hale, o lili ua kalani. Ko kako mo I wahine hano hano. E ola mau ko nei noa. E ola nui no ho'i kako, e na makamaka I nawe aloha mai I ke iahiahi, mahalo nui ke yahui ana o kako. I'm Hina Puamohala from the island of Maui. I'm the first one of 4 in the Hui'i'i. I'm here tonight to talk about a Hawaiian patriot whose story I was fortunate enough to be a part of sharing through my 2 jobs that I really love. One of those is Awaiaulu, and one of those is Kalapiko. So my partners and I started Kalapiko almost 13 years ago now. It's a Hawaiian fashion company, and we really wanted to break away from the norm of what fashion is. And so we made some decisions about how we were going to run it, and we said, you know what? We're only doing things unique to Hawaii. Native plants, animals, people, language, and history. And with that commitment, we started to do our thing. And that was 13 years ago, and I started researching into the Hawaiian language newspapers because that's my job at Kalapiko. I research our designs, create language for them, and I tell their stories. And those come on these mo'olelo tags with all of our clothing. And what I try to do is take the information in this repository, these newspapers and these vaihona, all this rich and beautiful information that we have access to, and bring that to people through the medium of fashion. Because I'm so fortunate to be able to access these resources. But when I started doing it, I was running alone, and I had a very limited skill set. And what happened is I got to meet this fabulous group of people, and that really changed what I do. And it gave me access to stories and information that I never had before. And so that brings us back to the patriot that I want to talk about tonight, Timoteo Kamehameha Ha'alilio. He was one of 3 diplomatic envoys that made a journey to America and Europe to seek recognition of Hawaii as an independent state. And he and the other envoys accomplished this on November 28, 1843. It was a long and arduous journey. The things that these men saw and the sacrifices they made are so far above and beyond anything that people of today can even grasp. Going overland through Mexico, fording streams, sleeping in the cold, getting sick, being away from your family for almost 3 years. That's how long it took for these men to do this journey. And it could only be a man or men of sterling character that could make this happen, and that's who Ha'alilio is. So the story of Hawaiian independence is really the story of Ha'alilio's life. So in 2016, with the help of Awaiaulu, we got to bring Timoteo Ha'alilio's story to the people through this t-shirt that we made. I started learning about his mo'olelo a little bit before we made the t-shirt, but I'll tell you what I learned in Hui'i'i. And that is that before he went on the diplomatic mission, Ha'alilio's life was full of all kinds of interesting adventures. He was actually held hostage on a French warship. In July of 1839, the Artemis docked outside of Honolulu, and Captain Laplace started making demands on behalf of the King of France. He said, I want religious freedom for French Catholics in Hawaii, I want land for a church in Honolulu, and I want $20,000 as a promise that you guys are gonna make this stuff happen. So what's happened is Ha'alilio is sent aboard as a hostage, but he's the king's favorite. He's been his childhood companion his whole life, and he is one of the most trusted people in the kingdom. So he only stays for about a day on the boat. They swap him out with I'i, who is kind of a grouchy character in comparison to Ha'alilio, who they speak of as this warm-hearted man who was fluent in different languages and presented himself very well. So I'i spends about 3 days on board the ship. Then Kekuanao'a and Ha'alilio come back with a chest full of cash. Now Kamakau says that it was Kekauluohi and William Richards who brought the chest back on, but I'i clarifies that because he was there in person. He saw them bring the chest on, count the money, affix the official seals of both nations, and then he was allowed to go ashore after that. So as my colleagues have pointed out before, it's very, very important that we find all the different narratives of history that we can so that we can piece together an accurate picture. And that's one thing I learned working with the I'i text. We also worked with a letter that Ha'alilio wrote to his mother, that's up in the left-hand corner, a stirring and heartfelt letter that he wrote. He expresses to her while he's in London how he really hopes that they'll get to see each other in person again, but that doesn't happen. On the way home, they accomplish independence, they secure it. La Ku'oko'a that we celebrate now is because of that, and they begin their journey home. And on a boat bound for his beloved Hawaii, Ha'alilio passes away. And his life was a sacrifice for our sovereignty, which is why I chose the olelo, ka lehua oli no mau, which means the ever-radiant lehua. And like our sovereignty endures today, his mo'olelo does too, and it will stay with us forever because we have the ability to share it out now. And so that's what Kalopiko tried to do with this t-shirt project, and also with the kanikau of Ha'alilio that we translated this past February. I was so fortunate that Team I'i decided to jump on my boat I wanted to paddle, and we all translated kanikau, and Ha'alilio's was among them. And it was wonderful for me because it was one of these final pieces in the story of this amazing man's life that my mentors have been piecing together over years and years. So it was just a beautiful moment. We got to share that out on our new Mo'olelo site, Kalopiko Mo'olelo, which you can access from the homepage of our website. So you can go on there, read the translation. And I feel so fortunate that these two parts of my life have intersected, Kalopiko and Awaiaulu. And we started Kalopiko with the true desire to tell the stories of our kupuna, and Awaiaulu has empowered that in a way that nothing else can. So I'm deeply indebted to my kumu, Auntie Kau'i and Puakea. Auntie Kau'i for your research expertise, and Kumu Puakea for all the time and energy that you take trying to impart your skills and knowledge to us. I also say a big mahalo to my Kalopiko partners who have always been willing to push the boundaries of what a fashion company has traditionally been to allow us to be the Hawaiian company that lets us be who we are. Mahalo nui.
No leila, au he e ka hu, e nā maka ainana, e nā hoa, a me nā mākole paha I iho hewa mai I makua. O wau no ke ia o Keawe ke kua o Kalani Goodhue, he kupa wau no ko'olau poko o Ahunei. Aloha nui kako. You know, I was fortunate in my upbringing to have learned my history. My mom would often take my siblings and I to Pohukaina and Mauna Ala, and she would teach us the stories of our people and our heroes. And so in my family, we ended up developing heroes, household heroes, like Ke Kuokalani and Manono, and we learned about the Battle of Kuamo'o and the overthrow of the Aikapu. We learned about Lili'u, our queen, and all the hardships she endured through the course of her reign. But there was one hero who stood above all else in my family, and that was the recent patriot mentioned in Hina's piece, Timoteo Ha'alilio. And so when I read that letter he wrote to his mom, I was moved to compose a song about it. And so the song I wrote is titled Hi'ikama. It consists of 5 verses. In the first 3 verses, I wrote it from the perspective of Ha'alilio writing to his mom. And so the first verse, Auhea oe ku'umakuahine aloha, e ia mai au kau makahiapo. Ha'alilio calls out to his mom and says, here I am, your firstborn child. In the second verse, he goes on to explain that upon reading her letter, his mind is taken to a time and a place, perhaps as a child, when he was still in the embrace of his mother's arms. He says, Lauele kamanao, a hi'ipoli ia e, ika ike ana mai I kau palapala e. In the third verse, he explains that as he's reading the letter his mom wrote to him, he hears her voice, as if they're together again, and she's reading it to him. I ku'unana ana e, kau mai ka leo o ku'umea nana auihanai. In the fourth verse, I wrote it from the perspective of his mom writing to Ha'alilio. I thought, what would it be like if she had just one more chance to write to her son before he passed away? And so she calls out to her son, Auhea oe ku'ukama, e ku'u Timoteo e. Where are you, my beloved child, my sweet Timoteo? Ha'alilio kana'au ika ike maka ole e. That my heart aches at the prospect of never seeing you again. In the 5th and final verse, I personally write to Ha'alilio, Pua e ke aloha a puni ke ao, that love flourishes all around the world for what he had accomplished. A kupa a kapilina mau a mau. And that bond and that relationship that he sacrificed to put into effect has lasted until today and will last on. So this is my mele hi'ikama. But unfortunately, I wasn't gifted with the sound of music. So I like to call out my baby brother who stole all the musical talent from me. Heua olu Saidu Dwa. He's going to help me share my mele with you folks today.
Wow.
So that's just one way for one man to honor our Hawaiian patriot. But I look forward to the day where our keiki know our kings, they know our queen, they know the story of our people. So I encourage you, those of you who are able to pull from these resources, as we are, to write their songs, share their stories, so that our keiki are raised in a Hawaii who actually knows their heroes. Mahalo.
Ia kākou nā hoa makamaka, nā hoa mahamaha, I a koko mai nei kia ano kia hiahi. Maka hale aloha o ko kākou mo I wahine o liliu, ano ai ke aloha ia kākou pakahi. O no kainoa pestana he kamawau no kauka o kia walau o Pu'uloa. E noho nei mauka I ka aino o Pukalani ma Maui aku. Aloha, I'm Kainoa Pestana. I am from Waipio, here on Oahu, in a town named after the person that we have been researching for the past 2 years, a town called Mililani, named after the home of John Papa'i'i. I currently work with the rest of Hui'i'i on his works, and currently live on Maui in Pukalani, working at the Pu'ukukui Watershed Preserve, which takes care of 12,000 acres, inclusive of what we know as Nahonoa o Pi'ilani, from Honokowai, Honokeana, Honokahua, Honolua, and Honokohau. As a conservationist and a Hawaiian, I'm always looking for ways to make connections. We're connecting plants, species from across islands, from across mountains, Mauka to Makai, and looking at water and how water connects all of us together. And how that connects Mauka to Makai, and how that connects past to present, but more importantly, present to the future. In one work, in Kamakau, he starts to speak about himself in the third person, and he says that he was born in Kumelewai, Waipio. His father was given such and such lands there, and the care of him was given to Imakuahine. Wanoa, Pahulemu, and Kalaikane were her names. And it goes on to say that these names were perhaps occupational names that came from occupations. And one that stood out that he explains is Pahulemu. And it goes on to explain that one unskilled in surfing would lay prone on a surfboard, and the expert one would stand behind him. And when the wave would come, he'd wait for the wave and push him from behind. And that person would get on the wave and he'd ride the wave to shore. And his name was Pahulemu. And so literally that translates as to push, and as Pa'ani said, Olemu, the alemu is the backside. So the backside of the surfboard is called lemu, right? And so that is Pahulemu. And so I looked at that story, and I had to ask again, who is Pahulemu? And for me, Pahulemu are those that kind of pushed us into places that were maybe uncomfortable for us, and places that we didn't want to be. I'm not going to say I didn't want to be here, but Awaiaulu was one such place. I was pushed by Pahulemu Yim, and into a place that I appreciate that I am now. We've gone on to read some of the other stories, and he explains some of the surfboards that he made. And alaya was one, and how it was surfed, and I said, I can make an alaya. And so if you look at this left side picture, this is an alaya that I carved. And interestingly enough, the wood came from Pu'ukukui Watershed Preserve. Not from the forest itself, but at 3,000 foot elevation to the summit at Pu'ukukui, there's a redwood boardwalk that goes all the way to the top. And I took the scraps of that boardwalk and I planed them down and I glued them together, and I created Kawai Lanaula, the alaya you see on the left. And so that was me connecting Mauka to Makai, past to present. And I tried to surf her. I didn't, but I will. Interestingly enough, a year goes by and I said, I can shape another board. So I go to the place, I shape a board, and I'm trying to figure out how to do the resining, and I meet this guy. He says, bro, you need help? Yeah, I got a couple questions here and there. Bro, you need any help? Come to my place, I'll show you how. I said, what you doing today? Oh, come to my house. So sure enough, I go to his house, and he helped me that day. And when I left that day, I texted him, mahalo, in Hawaiian. And all he texted back me was, mahalo, I need to learn Hawaiian. And from then on, I've met with him till that board was done. That board I shaped about a month ago. Her name is Moani. And every time I go to him, he's always having questions. He took it upon himself to learn. He downloaded Duolingo. He's on Quizlet. He's making his own Havina. I text him in Hawaiian, and he always texts me back in Hawaiian. I go to him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I was looking at the way you text me. I noticed you always text the same way, blah, blah, blah. So I try to use him to, and he's learning. And when I look back at that, that was the pahulemu. That I started a lot of projects. I don't finish them all on time, maybe take a couple years or so, and then he was the pahulemu to finish this board quickly before summer came. 10-foot, nose rider. It's been a good summer. And I was the pahulemu for him to push him into a place that maybe he wasn't ready before I got there, but when I met him, he said, I need to learn Hawaiian. And he's progressing really, really quickly, and I'm proud of him. How this connects to what we do here, and pushing things that maybe is not quite acceptable to everyone, that we do translation, that it takes away from learning Hawaiian. But like we said, that it's not about a language, but it's about knowledge, and how we push knowledge forward so that we all can ride the same waves, and so we all can be knowledgeable about who we are as a people and who we are as Kanaka. What this means for the future, I know the brother gonna learn Hawaiian. I know he gonna teach his kid and teach his wife. And maybe I'll make some more surfboards based on Hawaiian things, kind of, mindset. We should all look into ourselves, who are our pahulemu, who have pushed us into great places, that we've all done great things, and be ourselves people that can push others into places that will make the Lahui a thriving people. I ola mau kako. Mahalo nui.
E o e liliu I kou inoa. E no kākou I ka hale kanaka, ke wawa nei. No ka maka eha, ka lei na li'a wahine. No kākou, ka lei o ke aloha. Ano ai kākou. O ka iwa kalani dames ko'u inoa. No lalo o Waianai ka makani ka Awaiaulu. My name is Kaiwa Kalani Damas, and I'm from Waianai, and I want to just try and keep myself on time here. But I'm very long-winded, so. But so my presentation is basically a song I wrote. Just like the others that have talked tonight, we all have learned how to access our repositories. We all have learned how to pull out information, connect the dots, cross-reference, all kinds of things. I joined Awaiaulu to further my own language as a teacher at the university. Before I was a teacher at Kamehameha High School. And I joined Awaiaulu to better myself so that I could teach my students better. And that was very successful. What I didn't expect was how quickly we as members of Awaiaulu would be able to help the broader community. My wahine and I were asked to help out with this group from Maui. They're called Malama Kakanilua. They're a community-based group, grassroots group. They were formed because sand in Kama'oma'o Plain, the big plain in the middle of Maui, sand was being mined and sold, or stolen, and sold to construction companies to make cement. All this mining had there was no regulations. Nobody was checking what were they finding while they were mining, all these kinds of things. This group started because they said, hey, my family's from here. There's bones here, there was a battle here. The hard part is, nobody knows about the battle. We all know about the famous battles of Kamehameha. But before Kamehameha, Hawaii wasn't all just rainbows and golden showers and, there was still war. There was still conflict. And a huge one happened at Kakanilua and Kamaku'ilima at Kama'oma'o between Kalani Opu'u and Kahekili. We were asked to compose a song to commemorate the battle from the perspective of Maui, because Maui won. And Maui won easily. Maui at the time was backed by Oahu and Kauai. Kalani Opu'u had Hawaii. And Kalani Opu'u went, and the battle was all in Maui's favor, that it is called the slaughter of the Pi'ipi'i at Kakanilua. The Pi'ipi'i is the name of one of the troops of Kalani Opu'u. So in taking all of the skills that we got from Awaiaulu, I was able to take the language written by 19th and early 20th century writers and compose a song using the language that might be understandable by those who were in the Battle of Kakanilua, or the grandchildren of the people who were in the Battle of Kakanilua. I'm going to sing it for you, and it's meant to be a song for Maui people to be proud of. Kamehameha people love Holewaimea. Maui people hopefully will love Ahulau ka Pi'ipi'i I Kakanilua. There's a bunch of verses. It's kind of up-tempo. Sing along if you want. It's fine. Ahulau ka Pi'ipi'i I Kakanilua, Ike po'o wahi me kaniula, he vai au o kalau meki, kai ehu aku I kalau o ka ilima. Aku ka ula e ka lepo ka kanilua e ka moku ilima, o na kaua hulia mahi o ka hekili nui ahu manu. Kumai e ka alapa me ka Pi'ipi'i, I ana e kai ai ka ma'o ma'o, ka hiko I ka ahuhulu o ka manu, kena kena I ka vai a o wailuku. Kue ka e aula, kue hue ka lepo ka kanilua me ka moku ilima, o na kaua hulia mahi o ka hekili nui ahu manu. Ai ai kalani nui kalani hale, ho'olono ana I ka ia ka leo, ua komo e kai ai ka makaha, haua puni e kanae ua ehu ehu. Kue ka e aula, kue hue ka lepo ka kanilua me ka moku ilima, o na kaua hulia mahi o ka hekili nui ahu manu, o ka hekili nui ahu manu. Kapu e kapu, moe ka vela, ua moe ke kapu, moe pu ke kaua, aloha kākou.
Mai ka vai ihi o kulani hakoi e helele I mai ana a hiki loa I nā papaku e ne mai ana. Mai ka mokuna o ka pawa I lono nui a kea a hiki loa I ke la moku puni kaulana I ke ka ilila o le hua aloha no kākou. O wau no ke ia o Kaliko Aloha Martin he kiki he kama e no hoi no e pi o kaulana I kiki mo po. This is me, Kaliko Aloha. If you would like to know a little bit more about myself, you can Google me because I just don't have time for it. Also, I would like to say mahalo, no ka hoʻo manawa nui ana mai. Please, I would like to express my gratitude for all of you for sitting for approximately 3 hours and listening to the diatribes. Please bear with me. I am the muli of the group, so I will keep it short and concise. Now, first and foremost, I am a student. I'm a student of hula. I'm a student of Olelo, Hawaii. And secondary, I am a limahana for Awaiaulu. I've been a limahana for Awaiaulu for 5 years. And those of you who ne maupopo ka Olelo, Hawaii ia oko, maupopo ke ia mea he limahana. For those of you who do not, it is a glorified gadut. That's me. That is my role that I play. You notice that Hina said that there's only 4 team members? Yeah, that's me. I am the one behind the curtain. It's all auli pilikia. So very quickly, I just want to get to the point. And so the point today is those of you who have endeavored in the Hawaiian language revitalization movement, those of us who comprise this motley crew, this microcosm that is called Awaiaulu, that is my gem that I share with you this evening. And so I would like to say that in 2019, we are the gems of our teachers and our teachers' teachers, and the resources that have been illuminated and enumerated that is the gem that I share with you folks today. The 125,000 plus pages of newspapers, the 800 plus oral histories, the hundreds of letters written by chiefs, the 100 plus maps that are available online in the comfort of our own home, in the comfort of my Bibilities, that is accessible through this little small thing here today, is really what makes us so good at what we do. And it is not to discredit what people have done before, but just to prove that the reason what we do and why we do it is so important is because in 2019 we have grown, we have come this far. And that is something to celebrate this evening. Okay, hang on, I only have 4 minutes. I told Auntie Kalia that I was only gonna do 4 minutes. So, 3 now. Okay, so here, it's a mere example of the many instances where in 2019 the resources that we are able to access has improved what we do. Again, not to discredit what has been put before us, but just a renewal, if you will. So here, I'm just going to read the bolded underline, give you a little preface. This is the 55th chapter of the installment Fragments Hawaiian History, John Papa I'i. Kamehameha, in the last paragraph of the 55th chapter, I'i describes Kamehameha divvying out land for his chiefly group. And so every chief, every person in the royal party gets a little playground area in Waikiki where all the chiefs reside, and Ahupua'a on Oahu as a resource land. And so on the left here is the translation that is presented in Fragments of Hawaiian History, 1983 publication. And then on the right-hand side over here is the 2019 Awaiaulu translation. And so these resources that are made available to us, the motley cadre that we call Awaiaulu, changed the perspective of how we view an Ahupua'a system. And there have been dissertations and theses and research that has been provided that really make our understanding and create our interpretation and enhance it in a way that would not have been able to be done in the 70s just because there is not a smartphone or the internet. And so here, I'm just going to read the bolded area. The Fragments of Hawaiian History says, the other part of Halava for his Ahupua'a to John Young. Here on the right is the other half of Halava being his Ahupua'a-based lands. And I know that sounds very, very small, and it could be a semantic argument, yes, but it provides the clarity because of these resources. And these resources give us a clarity that we need. So that's why what we do in Awaiaulu in 2019 is so important. And so with that, I would like to thank you for holding in your urine and for bearing with us for 3 hours. And now we are almost done. Kumupua Kea is going to wrap us up, and that's all she wrote. Mahalo.
Everyone ran longer than they were supposed to. But I started that, didn't I? So, okay, my fault. Mahalo nui a okoapau. What we want to say is that we really wanted you to meet the kids who are bringing this forward. I call them all kids. Some of them are not kids, I suppose, but what the heck. They're all in motion. We have looked ahead. I mentioned that we do pyramids and we do tomes. And when we talked about we'd like to do another 2-year phase of this, we're working together the funding, it's going to happen. But ideally, you would think we'd now take on 2 under each of those folks, which would make us a team of like 37, and we'd be as big as some small university programs. We just don't have the bandwidth for that. And I believe when in our meetings in the last 2 years, they've spoken to, the tome is really worthwhile. They would like to get a broader experience to be able to touch this whole repository. We've shown you the newspapers, but it's also the manuscripts, the government documents, the letters. All of these come together, and for them to get exposure in all of those. So our next phase, for 2 years, we're going to break all the pyramids and make teams of 3, with me on every team. And Kaui's the support system for the whole thing, and give them fields instead. So Team A is given William Charles Lunalilo, for instance. And so there's already a lot available in English. Go pick up every single reference about William Charles Lunalilo in Hawaiian newspapers, government documents, letters, manuscripts, all of that. Bring it in, translate it. That now becomes the William Charles Lunalilo Ohina, the collection. When you're doing research, you can find the English. Here's the Hawaiian. Okay, now we put them onto an example I gave was like cotton. Hawaiian had cotton in their world. But during the Civil War, that became a huge industry here because American cotton fields were diminished. And now American cotton has Hawaiian genetic material or Hawaiian cotton genetic material in all of their cotton because it was not prone to the funguses. Take everything that we can find. Translate it out, there's the cotton collection. Anyway, that's where we're headed. I'm excited about that concept because if each team can do, say, 2 of those a year, that's 4. 5 teams work on that. We would have 20 new whole fields of material available. And we haven't chosen our topics. So if you have a dying urge to get something in, talk to us. Okay, but that's where we're headed. Okay, this is been a delight. Do you have anything to say other than, we want to say thank you. We would love to do a question and answer, but we're already way over time. Anake lola na hiki ke pule vehe, a pule hoku. And we didn't really say, but Auntie's been through the whole thing with us. And as always, she's our pillar. Okay?
Pule kako, e ko mako mako e o kulani, ke home ka ia mahalo kuni mako ia oe, no ke ia aiahi. Mahalo ia oe, lau na me ko uhane me mako i roko ko mako, halele anaku, o e pu me mako, o e no ke kalaiwa, ko mako ka aho ia iahi, kia ko mako home. Anau no ho po me ka ime na po e I hele mai, no ke ia halawai, ho po me ke ino o ia lako, no lako ko mako leo pule pu ke kai. I roko ko lako ho I ana, ho e pu me lako. Ko mako leo pule ke ho me ka ia mahalo aku ni a oe, ma ke ino a kau ki hiwa hiwa, o Yesu Kristo, Amen.
Mahalo. Okay. Mahalo. There's still things in the back. Oiala, kiri ko kako pono. Say hi.